Hi, I'm Kat, marketer turned brand storyteller.
And I'm Candice, educator turned entrepreneur.
And you're listening to
Not Nice, Clever.
As CEOs and leaders, it's your job to always have the answers, but sometimes you need a little help. Leverage, if you will. We get it. This is the place for you.
So wherever you're listening, 5:30 a.m. club at the gym, on your way to your next meeting, or putting out today's fire, let's get into it.
In today's mini episode, we are not answering a question, but probably laying down the law when it comes to what your profile photo looks like online. And our main message and takeaway that we are diving into today is that we want you to stop altering your face in your photos. Hashtag no filter. So Candice, this has been coming up. Where do we start here?
Yes. So I think that this conversation is happening a lot right now, especially like with the introduction of AI into a lot of our businesses right now. People are like, oh, great, I don't actually have to do a photo shoot, or oh, great, I don't actually have to make that video. I could use AI and make myself look perfect, whatever that means.
It's an illusion, people.
Right. And I don't actually have to show up. And it's coming up in conversations with clients who are like, can I just use this filter? It just adds light makeup. It just gives me eyelashes. It like takes away my wrinkles. It makes my face thinner, all these things. And when I think about that, it makes me sad because I understand that people are still thinking that they have to create content so that they can be perfect, so that they can look flawless. And the idea of building relationships is not about being perfect. It's about being real and authentic. So there are some things that I do so I feel better on camera. Like I have a light right now that does make my skin look better, but I'm not adding filters to add makeup to myself or make me look thinner or change the entire shape of my face. I do have a round face, okay? It is perfectly circular.
It's adorable.
And I have chubby
it's
cheeks.
Angelic. Your cheeks are not chubby, Candice.
Anyhow, it doesn't matter though. Like my point is that you want people to be able to recognize you. So if you're not the person who wears makeup every single day, then don't add a filter that adds makeup to you. Like that just doesn't make sense. And even if you are the person that wears makeup every single day, don't add a filter that adds fake makeup to you, right? And so we want you to be your most authentic self in the online space. And we want to be able to recognize you if we pass you in the street. And so if you're having a hard time showing up right now, I feel like something that Giselle always talks about is like the filters are fucking you up. And because it's sometimes hard for you to then look in the mirror after without a filter and see what you actually look like, right? And so you just gotta be yourself. And trust me, it's the face that you're walking around this earth with every single day. And people are interacting with you and you're having a good time. And it's all fine in real life, which means it's also all fine online in the online space. And so we would just encourage you today, if you're having trouble showing your face online, to show up as your authentic self and let people see who the real you is. It's actually going to bring down a barrier between you and your audience if you are showing up without Photoshop, without the extra layers of filters.
Yeah. I love that you called it. So many things. That was just like a mini masterclass in and of itself. Your clients, your customers, your family members, your friends, they see your face all the time and they don't have a problem with it. If they have a problem with it, you should probably drop them. Refer to prior episodes about outgrowing your circles.
Yeah.
You're the only one that doesn't see your face as often as they do. So we get it. Like we are farther along in the content documentation and creation journey. So we have built that muscle, but it's not going to get any easier by adding filters over it or by photoshopping yourself. A, that takes more effort. B, that creates dissonance and a disconnect between what your online audience is perceiving you as and then when they meet you offline, because you're not going to suddenly look exactly like your filters offline, and you're setting yourself up for, and we've had clients experience this, future disappointment because they want to take the shortcut. I get it. Times can be challenging for some people right now. If you do not have the funds for brand photo shoots, I know, Candice, you have your 3x3 rule. We do brand photo shoots at least 2 to 3 times a year. we understand you need to be more cost effective. There are other options out there to get really nice, polished, professional lifestyle photos that you can use where you feel and look your best for your profile photo. And actually, one service that I use that was recommended to me by a client out of Colorado, it's called FemForce Shoots. And they're here in DC where I'm based. They're also in Miami. They're in Denver. They're in New York. They're also in Dallas. If you look them up, it's basically like Uber for brand and reels photo shoots. And it's great because like when I did it, it was $100 and I got like 30 to 40 pieces of content. They didn't do any editing for me, but I at least had that content to work with. And I've used it in reels. I've used it in hero videos on my website. And so there are other cost-effective options, but it's just, we are all about being proactive here at Not Nice Clever, and filtering yourself now is going to fuck you up in the long term. Like Giselle said it best.
And just for full transparency, like there have been, scroll way back, there's like filters galore on my TikTok. And at that time, it wasn't even because like, at that time I wasn't even feeling like, I wasn't 40 yet. But at that time it was just more like, because I thought that was like the culture of it, like I didn't understand that you could be on there without filters, because it was like
all you saw.
Like everyone had like the butterfly filters and like the freckles and just like
gosh,
all the like
the
really
tongue and
the really
ears.
obvious
Yeah.
ones. Yeah. Like those really obvious. Like I used those a lot back then. But as I've grown as a content creator, I'm thinking more about what I'm saying and how I'm connecting with my audience, and the less things that I have in between us, the better. But that doesn't mean that I don't care about how I look. I do care about how I look, and that's why I have light, and that's why I film facing the window or things like that help me to feel better about the content. And then occasionally you'll see me on Instagram stories after hot yoga looking like a hot sweaty mess, and I'm also okay with that because you're going to see me at all different stages. I walk to Pilates, and I often record myself on my walk to Pilates without any makeup, and just that's how I look in the morning, okay? And so my audience sees me at different places in time, but it's appropriate, right? Like I'm not showing up a hot sweaty mess to talk on stage.
Right.
It's time and location appropriate how I look for what I'm doing, and people get to see me at all of those different variations. And to this day, no one's ever said, ew, what's wrong with you right now? Why do you look like that? Like no one's ever said that to me. Maybe they've thought it, but they're not like writing it on my comments.
And even if they're thinking it, even if somebody listening to this episode right now has had a comment like that, either said directly to them in a comment, in a DM, or behind their back, just please refer to whatever episode where we've talked about OPOs and how it means nothing about you and it is just a reflection of their trollish self. That bears repeating. Delete.
Yeah. Block
and delete.
Block is one of my favorite buttons because it just doesn't matter. I have had like people comment a little bit when I wear my hair naturally, which is like really curly.
Yeah.
People have like commented like, you look different, like in a way that I feel like is annoying to me. But other than that, I don't know if they mean it in an annoying way or I'm just taking it like that. Who knows?
That's a question for another episode.
Yeah, we all in some ways feel uncomfortable. I feel like for me, it's when I show up maybe without makeup or, obviously not looking my best. I use that as fuel to share with my clients. I'm like, look, I made this and I'm having conversations in the DMs and I didn't look how I might want to look,
Yeah. It's funny because you mentioned like the no makeup, like we all have our like quirks or our preferences for our personal style. And for me, I invest a lot of time and money and energy into like my skincare and my hair. Like those are the things that I go all out for. I'm not a makeup person. Like I fill in my eyebrows a little bit. I put a little bit of mascara, a little bit of blush, and then boom, call it a day. But the other day I went all out and I did like primer, highlight. I'm probably using the wrong terms. I watched a YouTube video to learn how to do it. And then I did eyeshadow and I walked down and Will and I were going out for a date that night. And he looks at me and he was like, oh, he's like, you got eyeshadow. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, does it look bad? He's like, no, you look great. He's like, you just don't look like you. And I was like, oh, even he gets it. Yeah. Don't do that to your people, folks. I mean, dress up and be fancy if you want every once in a while. Like there's definitely an occasion that calls for it, but that's just a perfect example where like you have your natural routine, you have your authentic self and you look, I think it's impossible. Well, I won't say that, but I'd say it's very hard to be like considered like ugly or gross or weird if you're being authentic. Like that shines
Agreed.
through from within.
Yep.
And the right people will always be like, damn, Candice, you go, you know?
Yeah. And I think that that's absolutely true. That's one of the things that I talk about with my audience is how I go to the gym, and it's not because I think that my body's going to change, or maybe I even necessarily want my body to change, but I just feel like I look better.
And then you walk better. You like,
Yeah, exactly. It's like the confidence in it, right? Like literally I might not lose any weight. I might not gain any muscle. My clothes might fit me exact same. But I will go to work out so that I feel better in my mind and I feel more confident to want to show up on camera. And I know that I'm more likely to when I am being active in some way. And you've heard me talk about, like, even if you're walking, like, you have to move your body. If you are able to move your body, then I need you to move your body, because you are going to feel more inclined to want to show up, and you're going to feel like you look good. And that's really important, I think.
I think that's a perfect place to end on. That's a mic drop ending right there. So we hope that you have enjoyed this very not nice, but hopefully somewhat clever mini episode. If you have a question you would love us to answer, feel free to slide into our DMs on Instagram at notniceclever. Shoot us a question and we'll record you an answer.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow Not Nice Clever wherever you listen to audio.
And if you haven't already, drop that 5-star review.
Share your takeaways. Tell us your story. We love to hear it.
Signing off, your not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.